As we know, the 7 deadly sins are pride, lust, gluttony, envy, being cringe, and not being subscribed to patterrz. But what has the Pokemon community done to initiate all of these horrible, terrible sins? Well, the Rogue Renegade has made a video going over the sins of the Pokemon community. Let's have a look.
Welcoming and friendly fan bases, you would think Pokemon comes to mind. The series is all about making friends with your Pokemon, trading with one another, and camaraderie between trainers. And for the most part, you'd be correct. The Pokemon community is extremely friendly and willing to help one another out. There's many wonderful—
This is true. I was about to go off the edge and be like, haha, the Pokemon community being nice towards each other. That's ridiculous. But over the past few years, things have gotten a lot better. People are nicer towards each other. Some of the more toxic parts of the community have been axed or have just become completely irrelevant. So I would say that most people are generally nice, and everyone that comes in, whether it be a big content creator or just a new viewer, is generally pretty cool and not weird. This is good news.
People in this
generally
community expressing their love for Pokemon, and it's pretty great, but like everything, evil lurks within. The 7 deadly sins are things we all fall victim to. Whether we like it or not, no one is perfect, and the community reflects that no matter how hard people try to hide it. As a community, we have committed a number of those sins, so why don't we take a few steps back to
what do you mean we? Come on now. We're not all a part of this. We're one of the good ones, right, guys?
This community really is.
Right, Rogue?
No. So hopefully taking a look at this community as a whole will help us realize our wrongdoings and as a result cleanse this terrible place.
I'm ready to be cleansed.
Fuck. Let's start with
No, we're not.
Prideful is to feel an inflated sense of your own accomplishments and just sort of feeling like you're better than everyone else. This one was—
That's just how I felt when I completed Renegade Platinum, my Nuzlocke on the first run without losing any runs. I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. So I have committed this sin.
Kind of a no-brainer. What type of person in the Pokemon community is the most notorious for being prideful?
Oh.
The Gen 1ers.
Gen 1ers?
Pokemon— No! Stop that. It's perfectly—
That's crazy. I haven't heard Gen 1ers referenced in so long. Like I said, they've just completely fallen to irrelevancy. And most people that are Gen 1ers aren't really in the Pokemon community because they don't play Pokemon games. They're off doing their own thing. They play golf, maybe basketball. They go to their office job, and maybe they'll log on to Twitter for the first time in 6 months because they were busy hanging out with their kids and be like, oh, I remember when there was good Pokemon design like Rhydon and not bad design like Scorbunny.
Fine to have a favorite generation, but when you constantly put down new ideas and innovation from newer Pokemon games, you kind of come off as stupid. Take a step back. Look at what your beloved series has become. It's the #1 grossing franchise. Shouldn't you be proud of that instead of a handful of mediocre Pokemon in arguably the most boring region ever?
Yeah, but
I don't know if you can personally be proud that a franchise you enjoy is the #1 grossing franchise, because I mean, I guess you contribute toward that by giving your money, but it is just a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I don't think I could personally feel proud. Be like, look, I like the multi-billion-dollar corporation. Let's go. It's got the most money of anyone. They harvested so much wealth from us. Woo! Yeah.
this fat Pikachu.
Wait, what? All your generations suck. Give it up for Pikachu.
Pikachu is kind of base, though, to be fair.
The surface of pride, though. The competitive scene can be pretty toxic at times, which is true with most games. However, there's those select few people who gloat about their expertise and belittle those who are new to the series for not knowing every single mechanic the game has to offer.
That is true. I will personally have people come into my stream and be like, hey, new here, what does this do? And then people reply and be like, duh, it's this, you freaking moron. I'm like, come on, guys, that's not fair. We always want new people coming in. If someone is asking about a really easy to understand feature that you think that everyone should know because you played Pokemon for 10 years and they're coming in and they're new and they don't know that yet, then that's good. We want new people coming in. It's just good to be welcoming and explain something to them and just generally not be an arsehole about it, right?
I play competitively occasionally, and after receiving that knowledge, I can never play Pokemon the same way ever again, and I hate it. I hate receiving my starter only to realize it has a bad nature and having to live with that knowledge. Yeah, the game is still gonna be—
This is why Pokemon should make a Pokemon Showdown. Guess what? If you don't like people cheating, here is the solution. Just allow people to create their Pokemon. The worst part about competitive, and the reason that I personally don't play competitive, is because there's no way for you to just easily generate a Pokemon. Oh, but Daniel, there's mints. Oh, but you can just do Terra raids. Oh, but you can just do this and that. And like, that's great. That's fantastic. It still takes too long, and my attention span is not able to keep up with it. If there was a way for you to just generate a Pokemon like you can on Showdown and play with it there, that would be so much better. That's the part of the game I actually want to play. But the barrier for entry, while it is a lot less bad than it used to be, is still so much that I just don't have the patience to sit down and do it. And if you're saying that that's a good thing, then you're gatekeeping the community and you're gatekeeping competitive. Why is that a good thing? Most competitive online games are just jump in and play. When you play Valorant, you don't have to make your gun. When you play Rocket League, you don't have to create your car. When you play Pokemon, you have to sit there and meticulously grind out the correct Pokemon to use every single time, only to realize, oh, maybe I should use a different team instead, actually. And then you have to spend hours doing the next team. Oh, at Valorant, I could just choose another gun. If I could just jump in and play, competitive would be so much nicer.
Easy, but just knowing my Pokemon could have been stronger than it already is bothers me. Like, it has
I love this editing, by the way.
Well, you must be saying, why don't you just reset for another? Well, that kind of defeats the whole point of playing casually. If I did my best to have the best possible stats for a Pokemon during a normal playthrough, not only will I have less fun, but I'll also be making the game easier for myself as a result, making the games even less fun. Yeah, Jimothy over there has not
games are easy.
in the world what an individual value is, but at least he's having fun. Also, tournament winners who gloat about their victory years after they've won. Yay, I'm happy for you. Good job, but do we really need to be reminded of a victory you got in 2011? I'm sorry, but...
I thought he was talking about Wolfie. I think that Wolfie having like the world champ as part of his brand is one of the smartest things I've ever seen in the community. Being the best at something gives you so much more authority and credence. It makes people so much more likely to click on your videos. I think honestly, this is, I kind of disagree on this a little bit. I think that if you're a world champion, then you spam that as much as humanly possible. I actually kind of agree that it could get annoying sometimes, like, hey, I'm the world champ, like constantly, but it is such a good thing to use. If I had it, I would use it constantly, all the time.
Nobody.
Also, Wolfie is an absolutely lovely individual.
Cares. Also, YouTubers who think they're better than everyone else.
True, me.
Why isn't the screen changing? I have merch now. Real merch that you can actually buy. I've come such a long way.
I want to see it. Let me see it.
Thanks to you. There's a hoodie with all of our sprites
that's
together,
cute.
along with my logo on.
Oh, look at these guys' little characters on. That's cool. I like the logo too. That's a really cool logo. It reminds me of like a One Piece Jolly Roger. It looks kind of cool.
Shirt or stickers. I also have a members tab now where I post updates on future videos along with other announcements. If you're interested, the links are down below. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. But wait,
they're really nice.
Use code BILLUP for 10% off.
The fuck did I do?
That's right.
Whoa!
This is a limited time offer only available for 1 month.
BILLUP? No way.
BILLUP. You know him. BILLUP. My name BILLUP. Use code BILLUP. Anyways, greed is the excessive desire for material things and overall selfishness, which sadly is far too common in the Pokemon community. I'm not gonna say who, but we all know what type of people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the PokeTubers milking the absolute living hell out of anything they can. Leaks? This breaks the meta? What the fuck? New news? No.
I'm glad that I obviously don't fall under this part at all. I would never milk something for as much as I can. Every time I make a piece of content, it's always trying to be new and original, something a little bit different. I try to switch things up constantly. I don't milk things at all. So yeah, no, it's good to be different to those people that do that.
Half-ass videos made to garner clicks. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just kind of disappointing to see. There's not a lot of people trying new things and innovating content creation here. Though there are a lot of good PokeTubers out there like True Green 7, Candy Eevee, Renegade, and
True, yeah.
Guardian, just
true, yes. Is there? No, yeah. Those are the four good ones. The four horses of the PokeTuber. Yep. Those are the four ones.
Are the absolute worst thing to have ever plagued the earth. As if things weren't already expensive, scalpers have to go out of their way to purchase as many things as possible and mark up the price. And not a lot of companies have a problem with this because a sale is a sale at the end of the day. And if things keep getting rarer, the more often products will sell out. The only people...
Yeah, do you remember in like 2020 when Pokemon cards were completely unfindable, where grown adults, 30 and 40-year-old men would like knock kids out of the way to buy every single Pokemon card at a Walmart? The kid's like, look, there's a pack of XY evolutions, and some 40-year-old man would come bounding around the corner and punch the kid in the face and grab him and be like, no, I must capture it for myself. I'm going to sell it for 10 times the price.
Benefiting from this artificial scarcity is the companies and the scalpers. How do we counteract this? Stop buying from scalpers. The hell are they going to do with 25 PS5s? If nobody buys them off them, they just wasted a ton of money. I guess.
No, that's not true. You can make a cool throne out of them. Imagine having a throne of PS5s, so you just sit on your throne of PS5s. You probably wouldn't have very good lumber soundbar support, but it would look
They
sick.
can use them as a coaster or something. The Pokemon card craze has thankfully died down, but there are still many going out of their way to steal them. I never got the whole craze of watching someone else open Pokemon cards. It just kind of makes me jealous. There are people out there who aren't even fans of Pokemon buying them in bulk just to sell whatever they get their hands.
I did like the box break meta that was going around a few years ago, where people would buy like really expensive boxes and then they'd open it on stream. I think that was kind of entertaining. I never bought any of the packs. I remember there was a lot of YouTubers selling packs that you could buy in box breaks. The only one I bought was my friend Christian, who was opening XY Evolutions, and it was like 50 quid a pack, and I bought it to support him because he's my friend. Apart from that, I wasn't really buying the expensive packs because if I wanted to buy one of those packs, I would just buy it separately and then I could open it on my own stream. It didn't really make sense to me to buy it from someone else. I mean, I know people bought it from like Logan Paul, but it seemed like such a ripoff to buy it from someone like Logan Paul, considering his entire business model is to rip off his viewers.
Hands-on. If that's not the epitome of greed, I don't know what is. Huh? Well, apparently Game Freak wasn't in my vocabulary until now, and they emptied out my wallet entirely. Well, that was fast. Game Freak is notorious for their greed, and yeah, sure, you can argue that they aren't as bad as EA or Activision, but that's the bottom of the barrel. You're saying they aren't as bad as the bottom of the barrel? The only thing down here is Illumise and Volbeat, Boruto, and Alex Matrix.
What's up, guys?
What?
A lot of you may not know the lengths at which Game Freak will go to snatch $1 from you. Seriously, if you have $1, you better keep a close eye on it or the Game Freak ninjas will get you. Back when Pokemon Bank was still a thing, they essentially charged us for $5 for 1.5 megabytes of storage a year, whereas Google gives us 15 gigabytes of storage for free. Not to
I don't know the logistics on Pokemon Bank or anything like that, or the way that storage works, but I think $5 for a year is not that bad, to be honest, right? It was $5 for the entire year. Don't really care about that. That's fine. Do whatever you have to do. That's okay. It's not really that egregious. If they charge $5 a month for it, that would be pretty egregious. I don't really care too much about that,
releasing
though.
the same exact game with minor differences every year or so and pumping out low.
I think the most egregious thing that the Pokemon company does in terms of like scamming their own audience is when they used to release like Gold, Silver, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, which is just the same game. They released the same game 3 times. Most companies can't get away with that, apart from like FIFA.
Low effort games despite having millions of dollars. They even lied about us receiving higher quality animations and models, and I suspected that they were—
I think that's more up to interpretation. I guess you could say the high quality animations came from like cutscenes and things like that. And some of the moves had high quality animations. Like double kick is the one meme that everyone uses constantly. Like, yeah, it was bad. It's a bad animation. It could have looked way better. I'm not particularly defending Game Freak on this because I think that the work that they put into some of the stuff is completely abysmal. Have you ever seen Flygon trying to fly in Sword and Shield? It just sits there gliding and it turns on a dime. It's ridiculous. There's so many things wrong with the animations in these games, but some of them like kind of cool, and so it's kind of subjective whether or not you say they were lying or not.
preparing it for the next game, and it turns out I was right, so I guess I can forgive them for that. No, like, actually, these new models and animations look incredible. Good on you, Game Freak, but that doesn't excuse the other—
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet
behavior.
W.
If I delve any deeper into this, I'll open a brand new can of Weedles, and this video is just gonna go off the derails, so let's just move on. Go fight in the comments section or whatever. If you thought Game Freak was bad, just wait till you hear about the Pokemon community. The fans never seem to be satisfied by anything Game Freak delivers. No, I'm not a hypocrite. I actually really like Scarlet and Violet. It's the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in such a long time, but there's a lot of people who despise this game because of a few issues it has, the main one being the frame rate. And yeah, it gets atrocious at times, and I was playing through OBS, so you can only imagine how much worse it was for me. But I look—
Mate, you're playing through OBS? That makes it even more abysmal. Dude, the frame rate is unforgivable. Bugs are one thing, and the bugs can be funny. Most of the bugs in Scarlet and Violet are funny, but the performance makes me want to Minecraft myself off of a really tall building.
the frame rate can always be improved with updates or modding. It doesn't—
Yeah, it could be, right? In theory, the frame rate and the performance could be updated, but now we're 3 updates into the game, and they haven't done a single thing for the performance. It still runs like a tractor that's been destroyed by a nuclear bomb. Also, it's winter, so it's frozen solid too.
Take away from the fact that the game was still really good, especially compared to Sword and Shield. The only redeeming factor about the game were the characters and the music. But back to the point, no matter how much Game Freak delivers,
Pneumonia is the best character in the game. I love nematodes.
fans will always find something to complain about. I mean, just look at Twitter. That place is riddled with them. Go follow me. Sometimes I see all those posts and just wish that I could take them all down with like a DMCA notice or something. And someone over at Nintendo had the same exact thoughts because anything they don't like is gone. Like some sort of buster call or something. There have been literal
One Piece
years
reference?
of work down the drain because Nintendo didn't like the fact that fans were making better fan games than Game Freak. And yeah,
I think some of the fan games that get DMCA'd are making money somehow. There was was one fan game that got taken down because they had a Patreon that was related to the game that they used to make a profit from. I think most fan games that don't directly make a profit are generally okay, or they just don't want to go after them all. Like Infinite Fusion right now is been okay. There's no one there that's trying to make money off of it, except of course the content creators that then turn around and take those videos and the games and they turn them into videos that you can make a massive profit from. So the only people really profiting from it is Nintendo's not watching this, right?
Yes, it's true that they own the intellectual property, but as long as they aren't receiving any profit from it, what's the harm? It's the same ideology I have with pirating. Pirating games that are currently on store shelves is terrible, but what do you do once they aren't being sold anymore? You either have to rely on the eShop, which Nintendo either shuts down or neglects to add any games to it, or you have to buy the game secondhand for an extremely high price. At that point, pirating is excusable since you aren't taking away any profits from the company. The only profit anyone would be making would be the owners of already bought copies of the game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone argues that downloading games that you literally cannot buy anymore and there is no way to actually legitimately buy the game. I think everyone is mostly on the same page. People mostly disagree on pirating with new games or games that you can legitimately buy, but old games, there's no way to get it. Man, if they wanted to make money, they'd make it available for everyone. Then people would buy it. I don't understand why they don't make it available for people to buy.
But Nintendo is stupid. And by saying this, I'm probably ruining any sponsorship opportunities with them in the future, but hey.
Don't worry, dude. The Pokemon Company barely sponsors anyone. Like once every blue moon, Pokemon Unite will sponsor someone. But has anyone ever had a sponsorship, a paid sponsorship for Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield? I haven't seen any.
Gotta be real here. Someone on this platform's gotta speak the truth, and it's gonna be me. I just think the way Sega handles fan games is a lot more wholesome. They don't take them down. They actually appreciate that fans love their series so much that they go out of their way to make their own games. I mean,
yeah, right. Sega does what Nintendo don't. I realize I'm pausing a ton of this, but I just have so much to say. I think this is a really well-made video and I have a lot to say about it, but Sega does do so much better when it comes to fan interactions and fan creations.
That's how Sonic Mania was made. Sega decided to hire a bunch of fan game creators and we got a masterpiece because of it. But unfortunately, from what I heard, they had some internal fighting and Sonic Mania 2 is now never gonna happen. But hey, at least Nintendo hasn't took me down.
Oh
This is an overwhelming, intense desire for something.
No, okay, I know exactly where this is gonna go. This is gonna go low pony God of War. That's what it is.
Can also be considered disordered desire for or inordinate enjoyment of sexual pleasure. Let's just address the elephant in the room. What are you doing here? There's a scary amount of Pokemon Rule 34 out there. Not even the Pokemon are safe. There are no laws against the Pokemon rogue. At this point, you don't even have to add Rule 34 to your search. Simply looking up Gardevoir, Hex Maniac, or Lopunny gets you some pretty scary.
Wait, Hex Maniac? Seriously? Hex Maniac. Is that true? I think that's just a random trainer class. I didn't think that would be very popular. Okay, I'm going to scroll until I see something. I didn't have to scroll. I was going to scroll until I found Rule 34. I didn't need to scroll.
Results if you're in public. And Markiplier Smasher Pass video on every single Pokemon didn't exactly help the situation because
that 14 million views
after the Pokemon. I don't want any of you sick fucks near PetSmart anytime soon. When a new Pokemon character drops, it's only a matter of time before the internet makes it do unspeakable things. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be scared or impressed. There's actually 34 rules of lust in Pokemon. For more information on this sin, search up Pokemon Rule 34. Wait.
Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That actually does help in this situation.
Oh no.
Anyways, I don't know how much longer I can dwell on this topic before I get demonetized, so let's just move on to the next sin.
Yeah, let's move on.
Discontent or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. I'm sure we've all felt envious at one point or another. There could be many reasons to be envious. Maybe you're jealous that the Pokemon version you chose is getting the short end of the stick with DLC. Seriously, I feel bad for Shield players. Who the fuck is this? Maybe you're envious of someone's luck with
dude.
Shiny.
Sword straight up the superior version. They didn't even try to sugarcoat it. They didn't try to disguise it in any way. They said, dude, swords are cool and shields are cringe, so let's make that the good one. And they just executed on that completely.
Pokemon. Because I swear to God, I complete my Pokedex, make a shiny sandwich, hunt for hours, and Alex over there just happens to find one out of the blue. What a coincidence, Alex.
I'm kidding, I love Alex. He looks really cute. I like that little sprite. It's cool.
Who are you working for? We've all seen those huge collections of Pokemon merchandise, right? I can't be the only one that's jealous of all of that. It's so cool, I want it all. I'm assuming that the majority of you watching are—
Yeah, that was me when Jaden Animations got sent that entire Pokedex full of Generation 5 plushies. I was like, damn it, it should have been me! It should have been me! No, that's awesome. Seriously, if anyone deserves it, it's Jaden. She makes such good videos. If anyone deserves to get all those plushies, and she loves plushies as well, Jaden deserves those plushies.
From the West, so it really sucks when
Also, I realized I just stole that entire joke from Rogue because when I was DMing him to ask if I could react to this video, he made a tweet that was exactly the same. And I subconsciously made that joke without realizing it, and I just remembered that that joke literally came from him. I'm sorry for stealing your joke.
Japan exclusive Pokemon thing gets revealed. I'd argue that Pokemania in the West is what made Pokemon so successful in the first place, but alas, Japan does make the games, so I guess they can make the calls here. But I just want to experience the Japanese exclusives too. It's not fair. Whatever reason it may be though, envy thrives everywhere. Gluttony is described as overindulgence and overconsumption of food, drinks, alcohol, and other recreational drugs, or wealth items, particularly as status symbols. Overindulgence in something could perfectly describe anyone who binge watches the Pokemon anime. I know you gotta catch up, but sometimes—
That is not where I thought that this was going. I did not think gluttony would be anime enjoyers.
Take a little break every now and then. Those aren't the only people who experience gluttony though. There are a type of person far more notorious in this category. Just who am I thinking about? Shiny hunters. You could see them as extremely dedicated or just—
wait, that actually makes a lot of sense. They never stop. They just need more and more and more. You just get more shinies, more shinies, and more shinies. That actually makes sense in relation to gluttony. Also, gluttony is a really hard one when it comes to a piece of media that you don't actively consume in your body physically.
Flat out insane. The amount of time some of them have spent shiny hunting shinies scares me. Please stop. This isn't healthy. Just kidding. You can do whatever you want, but just remember—
Yeah, I mean, I spent about, what, 21,000 encounters trying to get Darkrai. It only took like, what, 2 years? That was a good use of my life. Could have went outside. Could have plucked apples from a tree instead, but nope. Soft reset to get a Darkrai. And what have I done with it since? I don't even know where it is. I don't know. I think it's in Pokemon Bank. I haven't even seen it since then.
Remember to drink water, guys. I'm concerned with some of these shiny hunters. When I was younger, I used to shiny hunt occasionally. And then one late night, I found a shiny and killed it because I was sleep deprived. That was the last time I shiny hunted in quite a while. This doesn't have to be limited to just shiny hunting though. You could also overindulge by sinking hundreds of hours into Pokemon just by playing the games. I've seen some of your playtimes. You guys are dedicated. I think the most amount of time I've sunk into a Pokemon game is like, what, 500 hours in Sun? I would check my old—
Yeah, I think I've replayed the same game probably about 50 times. And that's just like one of the games. We're talking all of them, like upwards of hundreds, maybe 1,000 runs.
3DS, but the battery kind of started expanding and I was scared it was going to blow up, so I threw it out. You could also overindulge in products. There's a lot of different Pokemon products out there, so I'm sure a lot of you have spent at least a little money on them. Hell, I bought myself a Pikachu Squishmallow and oh my god, it's so soft. Those products
that's awesome.
end up being pretty pricey,
I love it.
though,
That's great.
so it's best not to get sucked into the rabbit hole before it's too late. Wrath is just simply described as extreme anger, and we have no shortage of that in the Pokemon community. Seriously, all I have to do is open Twitter and oh my god, they put his head on a stick. You guys fight each other over anything, and it's kind of sad. I could say that Pikachu is a cool Pokemon, and someone would probably call me a sexist, racist, misogynistic, ageist, speciesist, and anything else that ends with is. Okay, I mean,
it's true. Honestly, Pikachu is a dog whistle for white supremacy.
They call me specious though, because I didn't like naming my Pokemon names like Jimothy. They deleted their comment, but you know who you are. It seems to only be a problem on TikTok though. I don't know what is it with TikTok. People just get really fucking angry there for no reason, but hey.
I honestly think that TikTok comments are the funniest comments of any social media. They're so ridiculously creative. I think it's just Gen Z. Zoomers are really creative when it comes to their comments. YouTube Shorts will have like brain dead individuals that'll be like, huh, they poop and pee. And then you go into TikTok comments and they meticulously craft out the greatest possible insult and then add a skull emoji at the end.
Hey, beats the algorithm. A day doesn't go by where there isn't a new controversy in the community. And it's not just people fighting each other. They also fight the Pokemon company itself. They are never happy with anything. Anything. Pokemon could deliver the most amazing, most incredible Pokemon game in existence, and somebody would still complain. I thought Sword and Shield were complete garbage. And they are. Literally the worst Pokemon games I have ever played. But some people still think it's better than Scarlet and Violet! What? Despite Scarlet and Violet's flaws, it's the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a very long time. Look, I get it. You don't like FPS drops. There's still things Game Freak can do to make the next games even better, but this is definitely a big step in the right direction.
Yeah, there's some things. There's quite a lot of things. They could make it playable from day one. That'd be fun.
So why does it have—
I mean, people will say that, oh, Scarlet and Violet is playable technically, but my god, there is no explaining the egregious performance issues. But we've already went over that meme 70,000 times. So instead, I'll say this. The game is unplayable because I don't get Growlithe as a starter. Bad game.
I have a 6 when Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have an 8. What the
Okay,
fuck,
that's insane.
Rebecca? It doesn't just just end there. I feel really bad for Game Freak because they received
Poor
death
Rebecca.
threats because of Sword and Shield's failure. And like, yeah, I didn't like the games either, but maybe don't tell the developers to kill themselves, please. There's also this one Twitter user.
That's a tall question to ask everyone. Not telling developers to kill themselves after they make a product that isn't as good as I wanted it to be. That's a tall order because I kind of have to do it. You're asking me to go against my inner self. You're asking me to go against the person that I am as a Twitter user that also plays Pokemon games. How do I not type kill yourself into the algorithm? It's really hard. Why does no one think about me, you know?
Who does a lot of great things for the Pokemon community, but I swear, every time I see
basic human decency is hard.
Than that, they seem angry all the time. I'm sure they're a really nice person, but it's hard to envision that when all you ever see of them is them complaining on Twitter. Of course, I won't say who it is because I don't want people coming after them, but a person I will mention who is already notorious for this kind of behavior is Verlicify.
No, dude, no. The more you say his name, the more he survives. Dude, this person, okay, I don't like talking about Verlicify because there's no point. The only kind of attention he ever gets is when people talk about him. This is a person that has been known not to change their ways for a long time. They're not super relevant anymore. So the only way that they're going to get any kind of relevance about what they're saying is if they say something stupid that gets people to react to it. And he knows that's how it works because he's a big fan of a lot of people that generate ire and controversy and hate to get attention. He fucking loves Trump. That's his whole playbook, is to say something ridiculous and get people to be like, oh, that was ridiculous, I hate this. Or Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro. Like, it's all the same thing. It's just generate rage so that people talk about you.
It's kind of
that's the whole thing.
Not to associate him with wrath. He always seems to have a problem with everybody. Funny story, I actually used to watch Verlicify back then, not because I agreed with anything he was saying, but just to see what kind of batshit insane thing he would say next. He starts
Yep, hate watching. That's the whole point. It's to get people to hate watch you. This is the same kind of person that says that any kind of promotion is good promotion. Any kind of advertisement is good advertisement. Just getting your name out there, making people talk about you is a good thing. That's generally not a good thing because it won't benefit you in any way. It won't make you any friends. And even if you're not looking for friends, it won't build you any long-term fans. Or maybe it will. Maybe pretending to be an underdog, pretending that everyone's against you because you speak truth to the system is a way to get some fans, but most people are smart enough to see what you're doing. Most people are smart enough to see through the act that you're putting on and the plays that you make every single time because it always looks the same.
Beef with everyone in the Pokemon community. And after saying this, I might be his next target, but oh well. I won the fight before it even started, so who really cares? He's attacked a lot of people in the past, and it's a whole rabbit hole in and of itself. This isn't an open invitation to attack him though. Just leave him be. I think it's better for everyone that way. Sloth, his reluctance to work
for real,
or make an effort, also known as laziness. I wonder who that perfectly describes. Game Freak is notorious for not putting enough effort into their games, and it's really sad because they have the potential to make—
I wonder what would happen if they just had infinite time to make the best possible product, not constrained by merchandise timelines, anime timelines, by the Pokemon company breathing down their neck, by Nintendo breathing down their neck. If they just had infinite time and all anyone asks of them is to make the best game possible. Doesn't matter when it comes out, but you sit down and you create it until it is perfect in your eyes. How long would it take and what would be the result? I would love to see that.
Amazing AAA titles, but they don't really have a reason to. Most of Pokemon sales come from merchandise, not the games. So I don't think they'd be willing to put in the effort to make a high quality Pokemon game. They could just hire more people to work on the games, but they don't. They said they want to keep their team small, which in my opinion is just shooting yourself in the foot, but hell, what do I know? Game Freak isn't the only one who's lazy. There's people even more lazier than that, if you can believe it. Ever heard of PK Hex? That's right, Jenners. They're too lazy to even play the game. That or they just hack in illegal Pokemon to use in tournaments, which is—
I have always been very ambivalent on the whole like cheating in competitive thing. It doesn't really give you a technical advantage in the competitive sense. It gives you a time advantage before the game. You can get everything as long as your Pokemon is generally legal and achievable in game. In the battle, once everything is prepared, there's no advantage. Of course, it does give you an advantage in terms of being able to actually acquire everything in time, because playing the game and grinding out everything to get these teams created takes a ton of time that a lot of people don't have because they're working jobs, they have real lives, they have to go out and do X, Y, and Z. This is why I think it's just make it legal for everyone to gen. Just let like have a program that just lets you gen everything. Then more people will play, more people will be interested in it, and it makes absolutely no difference to the battles themselves. The outcome of the battles will be exactly the same because everything is achievable in generating software and in the game. As long as it is a legal legal Pokemon with the correct IVs, correct EVs, and correct moves. Who cares? Just let people gen. I think it'll be great.
It's really
I would play
since
competitive.
Not everyone has access to those tools, but I have a very simple solution to prevent hackers from having any advantage in competitive Pokemon. If everyone had access to the same tools, then nobody would have an advantage over another. What I'm trying to say here is that the Pokemon Company should make a website similar to Pokemon Showdown. Everyone can create their own.
Pokemon Company should buy out Pokemon Showdown. I think the closest thing that would actually happen is they would just cease and desist Pokemon Showdown and shut them down, which will be the bad ending, the very sad, sad, sad ending, the ending that no one wants to see. But the good ending in this scenario, Pokemon buys Pokemon Showdown. They get a massive payout, and it allows people that genuinely want to play the game but don't have the time to get into it because they work real jobs and they have kids or they have to go to school, they just do other things, and they don't want to spend 5 hours creating a Pokemon team just for it to not be that good and have to change it and make another one. Allow them to just gen it, and then you'll have more players and more people interested. That's the good ending. That's what you should do.
As long as it's illegal. And the only thing you have to worry about is strategy. There's no longer a need for people to spend hours upon hours grinding for the Pokemon to have perfect stats. Most people didn't do that anyway. This, as a result, would make competitive Pokemon more accessible to everyone. It'd literally be impossible to cheat. But the Pokemon Company hates good ideas, so we'll just have to deal with all the hacks.
Do they just not know? Is that why? Do they not know about the idea? I can't comprehend why they don't want people to do that. Do they think it'll make people play the games less? If anything, it will make people play the games more. Because while you don't have to do the boring grinding, you can do the interesting, fun, competitive part, which is the part that everyone wants to do anyway. No one cares about doing the boring grinding. That's the part that people don't like. That's why I don't play it anymore. That's why I don't play competitive. I don't get it. Game Freak, what's going on? Anyway, this video was really good. Rogue, you did a really good job making this video. I thought it was really entertaining. Also, the editing is fantastic, and I'm going to subscribe to your channel now. And if you would like to react to any other video, put it in my Discord server. Thanks. See you later, guys.